Hey, it's Warren Whitlock here with another distributed conversation interview. Today, I'm talking to an expert in helping us get along with knowing what's going on in the world. I, for one, hard of hearing, need this. It's captions on everything. And we're going to talk a little bit about how the world's going to change when we have better devices bringing us the world. And does that actually help us to live longer? So, welcome to the show, Tom Pritsky. He's the CEO of Captify, and you're going to captionize the whole world, right?
Exactly. Thanks,
Okay.
Warren. Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
goal.
I see you're wearing the glasses, and that the slight tint we see is a little bit more than the tint. Why don't you go ahead and show us for the, yeah, I can see there. We got like a monitor on there. Yeah. And in that, I have tried these glasses, and it's captioning whatever you hear. And fantastic. Is it, first of all, the general question, what happens when somebody that was hard of hearing is able to hear or able to read and see what's going on? Whatever that, if
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
deaf and you can read this, right?
I can give a bit of context on our use case, the population we're targeting, and that's people with hearing loss. There are close to 1.5 billion people globally with some form of hearing loss, over 30 million in the US with a disabling form of hearing loss. So it's a really large proportion of the population that's struggling with these issues. Now, hearing aids don't solve the problem. Hearing aids are far and away the most common accommodation for hearing loss, but they have an incredibly not high non-usage rate. And that's because it doesn't sound like the hearing you're used to. If you put in a hearing aid, a lot of people will put it in once, take it off, never use it again. Because the experience with hearing aids is very different from the experience with regular hearing, the hearing you're used to. And most people lose their hearing later in life, unlike me, and then are not just used to using hearing aids their whole lives. At the same time, they love captions. We use them for everything, movies, Netflix, everything except real life. And that's what these glasses aim to do.
Well,
They aim
I,
to bring captions to real life.
I have hearing loss. My wife is oversensitive to sound. So it's a constant battle about the TV now for going on, oh, probably 20 years. And now I'm at the point that I am wearing hearing aids and I'm listening to you the same way I have when it's turned on hearing aid. Right now it's not. It's connected to my iPhone and it looks like a regular AirPod. In fact, it's the AirPod Pro 2. And so I've tried several other things. And yeah, echoes and things, but we can get used to them. But what I find most of the time is that when I'm in a place where I really need help with hearing, it's not going to work. Echoey, big room, ballroom, or actually
Yeah.
even more when it's like at a house. I go to parties at a mansion here in Las Vegas. It's got hard floors and just trouble hearing things. I know when I met you, I'd been having trouble hearing that. We were at a trade show, and obviously the glasses work perfectly, so that's fantastic. But I find
Yeah,
there's two things that happen. Normal is to stop participating in conversations.
that's right.
You
Yeah.
just can't hear what's going on, and I've done a bit of that. Anyone that knows me knows that the way I'm talking here is how I talk all the time. I fill in for not hearing by talking a lot more and watching to see if people nod their
Respond.
heads and follow what I'm saying. If I get it
Yeah.
wrong, I can see it in their face and I say something else. And so the communication becomes one sided. I think I'm in the minority of doing that. And it's just downright rude sometimes what I do. So, works on a
Well,
podcast.
I think in the podcast it's great, but in general, I think a lot of people actually do the opposite thing. When they have hearing loss, they withdraw from conversations. And people with hearing loss actually are far more susceptible to mental health issues, depression, isolation, because they no longer have that social component, dementia as well. So yeah, it's a big thing that we're trying to solve. It's a massive problem. It's a severely unaddressed problem. And it's one that's often overlooked because people are like, just get a hearing aid because they think it's just like glasses. And the experience isn't.
Right.
It still doesn't help you understand what's being said. And that's key.
And so the biggest problem with captions, watching something live or recorded live, something of that nature, where and automated captions, just so many words, aren't there? The words I have trouble with are all the words that don't appear in captions. Are you doing a better job with being able to get proper nouns and things like that?
Yeah, under the hood, we use the same captioning software that's used in apps like Live Transcribe. We offer some features which are very popular amongst the deaf, hard of hearing community, and they're just captioning apps. Captioning accuracy has also gotten radically better, even in the past year. Last year, when we went to CES, the accuracy was much worse than it was this year. So it's progressing by leaps and bounds. And we expect it'll be much better even a year from now because there's just so much effort and energy from the big companies trying to solve this issue. And we just ride that wave. And the final thing is we have features to help you. We have things like speaker name detection. So if you have someone you talk to often, we can put their name in front of what they're saying. Things like that that are hearing loss specific to help you better understand conversations.
So when I do this, the short demo I had, almost everything that got captioned was my voice.
Yeah.
Again, I talk a lot. Is that a tuning that you're going to be able to or want to do so it doesn't caption the wearer's
Yeah.
voice?
Yeah, we can definitely avoid captioning the wearer's voice. If you record your clip and then remove your voice, we wouldn't display it. But for example, some people like seeing their voice. So right now I'm used for every online meeting, I use captions. It captions my voice and the other speaker's voice. But yeah, with speaker recognition, we can take out your voice and only display the voice of the person you're talking to.
And then, of course, I would imagine if I'm in a room listening to somebody give a presentation, then I'm going to shut up and listen to the presentation. And it's going to be quite useful that way. Again, I'm in the minority that I'm liable to be talking more than listening. So that wouldn't work. That's fantastic. How long has this been out? Do you have users that have been using it for a year?
We just launched this year at CES and we started accepting orders recently and we're now live and in sales. We're preparing to ship
Okay.
more units. We've done pilots with users and you can buy it today if you want.
Good, good. I was just wondering, it's the other captioning software that works like yours. It obviously then has been used by some people to hold their phone up and read the caption, but not quite the same experience. But
Yeah,
yeah, I think we have to go with the general studies on this, not your device in particular. It just says that if somebody gets into hearing loss and stops paying attention and withdraws, their longevity is the biggest thing.
that's right.
Quality of life is not great if you can't participate in a conversation with people.
No, it's really bad. And
Right,
that's what we want to fix. We want to make sure that your experience, you're not left out of the conversation. We want to bring it back in. That's
right,
our core goal.
great, great. And so I don't recall if when we've met, I've told you about my big idea for a device that I'm not taking any action on. It's the future with when we get to Neuralinks of actually having that connected to a hat. And the idea of putting it in a hat is you could project from the brim of the hat to be able to read something. I think wearing the glasses might be a good option as I am envisioning my hat. But the best thing about the hat is that you can take it off. Neuralink, it starts screwing up on captions. Where's the on-off switch? I'm a little bit worried about some of this. I like that. The hat would have a projector, would have everything that's in your phone minus some of the battery weight and all the glass and metal, because it doesn't have to power a display. It could just hook into some other display. So actually, the glasses and the hat go together. Cameras all the way around the brim, and microphones and be able to record everything that's going on. But the best
Yeah.
part of all is being able to take it off. I like that about the glasses too.
Yeah.
And the
Definitely.
kind of hearing aid I have where it comes off and no problem at all. It's not like I have to worry too much about whether or not it's going to be charging or anything like that. These things, this technology is just so wonderful. I charged my hearing aid 4 times yesterday while I was participating and watching television. I've got my TV so that the sound is separate from the sound bar, comes to the headphones, and it's a wonderful technology. But yeah,
Yeah,
could use better
definitely.
captions. And of course, when I'm doing that, it doesn't work well if the TV is echoing. So I have to turn off the sound in some way by going to noise cancellation, and which means that, and yes, most of yesterday was listening to a book. And I can't tell you how many times in one afternoon of sitting in the same place, how many times my wife walked through and said something to me, and I have to,
Yeah,
huh? What?
yeah,
while
yeah.
the program's still going, and just all sorts of frustration. Pretty interesting to think of what it would be if she comes in and says something to me and it appears on the screen because it's not listening to the
Yeah.
headphones.
Well,
Um,
Warren, you mentioned a few things. Maybe I can address some of them. As far as notifications, we do have notifications. So if someone's behind you, we'll tell you person behind you, and then you can know to turn around, look at them, and get the captions. So I think that may be helpful. But more broadly, you mentioned Neuralink. Neuralink, we have had Neuralink for over 60 years, specifically for hearing loss, and
uh-huh,
that's cochlear implants.
right.
Cochlear implants are essentially Neuralink for hearing. And it's why I have some faith that Neuralink may succeed. It's because we have cochlear implants, which is
Yeah.
a technology that has been around for a long time.
I think we're all going to be cyborgs in the future. Right now, I wear contact lenses. I've been doing that for over 50 years. And before that, glasses. And of course, the hearing aids. And these aren't my teeth. I'm not the same. I'm not 100% real. My wife just got her knees replaced. And I said, now I'm married to a cyborg. And I think that's how we stay alive. At the same time, well, we like the stuff that's natural, the stuff you can disconnect. You can decide to be left alone. I don't know. I imagine you can turn off cochlear. Am I saying the right
Yeah,
cochlear
you
implant?
can turn off a cochlear implant, right? It has an
Yeah.
external and an internal component. So yeah, you can definitely turn them off.
Yeah, that'd be some. Yeah, thank you. Good to consider. I'm thinking more of where the enhancements are, which is also possible because you can get a lot more. You get a microphone that can hear farther away or tune into a person across the room or on the stage. Obviously, you can actually get. I usually talk about that with hearing, but the same thing with the captions. The microphone picks it up and focuses on the one person. Um,
That's right.
and I identifying the speaker might be something you can do too, where the it only picks up the named speaker.
That's a tricky thing to do. It's very hard to discriminate human voices from other human voices. But yeah,
I think we'll get there. Yeah,
yeah.
I don't see any reason why we can't. I know it's difficult to do that just in a crowd of people. Fine, then let's wrap it up with you telling us where we can run out and buy these things.
Yeah, we have a website, Captify.class. That's Captify, like captioning, Captify.class. And yeah, you can get it there.
Dot glass. Okay. Captify dot glass. Great. That's Tom Pritsky, and I'm Warren Whitlock. And you need to know more about me, read the show notes. And we'll see you next time on Distributed Conversation. Bye.
Bye, everyone.